Hello, everybody. It's Paul Ogden here from SEO Underground, and I am here today with Andreas Karle.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going? Very well, very well.
Fantastic, excellent stuff. For those who haven't spoken to Andreas before, perhaps it would be great for you to start off to tell us who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm native German. I'm 38 years old. I run a small agency from Portugal, 1 hour outside of Lisbon. And I actually started SEO just around six and a half years ago. And I never worked in an agency. It was always, let's say, on my own. Yeah, before that, I lived for a couple of years in Vienna, worked in consulting. And that wasn't really my thing. In the end, I consulted some hospitals. I don't know why they recruited me. I had no idea what I was doing there. So I thought, this is not the way I want to go down. I need to find something that's better suited. And it was always entrepreneurship for me. I knew deep down, but coming from a family where the father is employed by the state and is very keen on the pension and everything, it didn't come absolutely natural to me. So I kind of knew, well, I want to work online. I want to do something with online marketing. So I checked, what can I do? SEO. And well, I centered in on SEO, and I kind of knew I tried a couple of things with consulting and prior jobs, and I need to nail it right now and stick with it, right? So I followed through, come hell, come whatever, working 16-hour days. Actually sitting on this couch, my arm was hurting just from typing, and then went to bed, slept 8 hours, boom, back on the couch, and did that for many months to get me started. Actually, I got my first client after 2 weeks of doing SEO, it wasn't really a client, my first quick consulting, but that's a different story I might tell. So I put my toes into affiliate marketing, publishing, Kindle. I threw up a couple of websites of my own to learn it, and some of them actually did stick. However, I kind of left it on the side when, after one project I did for a psychiatric clinic where I helped them to get off the ground and mostly did SEA and SEO for them, I went to Chiang Mai, and basically there I was introduced to my first real well-paying hourly client. So I got lulled in and ended up more on the client side over the last years, or many years now.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, basically went to Chiang Mai SEO conference 2017, I think it was this big crypto craze when all of the SEOs suddenly stopped doing SEO and were trading Bitcoin, Ethereum. I didn't know what it was at the time, but everybody got pulled in there. So in the meantime, they have returned to doing SEO, at least most of them. Yeah, and well, Chiang Mai was very instrumental for me. I met a lot of people, also my personal friend and SEO mentor, Attila. First consulting clients I serviced from my hotel room in Chiang Mai. And so many years of client SEOs ranging from beauty clinics, I'm going to talk about this because this one I actually fucked up many years ago, to local e-com, national TV companies now, and very content-heavy SaaS and crypto companies. And that's what we're currently doing, both in English and German. Have a lot of clients in Switzerland. So yeah, and in the meantime, I'm kind of back to growing my own affiliate portfolio, coming back to the old time where I was a little bit more creative. It's a lot of fun, also a challenge, because I can do a really good job for a client, but applying this to your own sites, you know how it is. It's quite a challenge. You're never as good as with the client work that you do, and never as disciplined. But yeah, so I mean, my path was from, let's say, struggling freelancer to building a well-oiled small micro agency, also with a focus not only on growing it out to 40 people. That's what I wouldn't want. Very focused on let's say the lifestyle, or how does it feel good for me, and that's why I'm also more following up on the affiliate thing and the more creative side of things, which I've been missing a little bit by just executing and doing. So yeah, I will talk also in the talk about the obstacles, mind-wise, skill-wise, and also about the self-publishing, which I have quite some experience in, and I hope to add some value to guys who are on their journey, and yeah, need to know a couple of things that I had to learn the hard way, and yeah, hope there's something in it for everybody. Yeah, even for the more advanced guys.
Excellent, good stuff. So, what attracted you kind of to the darker side of SEO? What was the attraction there?
It's really funny. I mean, I never worked in an agency. I was never exposed to these politics of dark side, white side. So for me, it was always about what actually works, right? I mean, I couldn't afford. I think I had 1,500 euros to my name when I started all of this, and I mean, I had to make it work, right? So I was never debating politically of what is good, what is bad. What I was interested in, and what I'm still interested in to this day, is what works and what doesn't jeopardize my own site and the client website. So, and then that's it. So I don't know. I kind of try to stay out of this ideological debate, and yeah, and it's also the question: what do you define as black hat? I in the preparation of this call, I actually read a HubSpot article yesterday, and they named keyword stuffing as black hat SEO. So I don't know. I'm definitely not doing this anymore.
I don't think anyone is, are they?
I don't know. There's still a lot of writers who start every sentence, the best outdoor power bank for campers is, and so, but that is mostly born out of laziness, I guess.
Yeah,
not out of them being a black hat.
Yeah. No, it's probably people who haven't bothered to educate themselves since 2015 on things that may have changed.
Yeah, and it's just right. A lot of writers not being so content enough with being a writer, but upselling and saying, "Hey, by the way, I also do this little thing called SEO on the side, so I'll add the keywords and repeat a certain keyword on your about page, for example."
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that this is where SEO sometimes gets a bit of a bad name, is because there are lots of people who claim to be, to be able to offer some sort of SEO help, content writers who generally are copywriters for the written word, and who are good at writing that sort of stuff, but actually they are still perhaps have not educated themselves on the progression of SEO and how things are a lot more finessed and nuanced to where things were, or even 3 years ago, and I think, going round and telling people that they can offer this SEO service, actually, if they wrote good content, then actually that is the service that they should be offering in any event, so
the best they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we go back to the beginning of your SEO career, what's the one thing you wish you could go back and tell yourself at the beginning of that career?
Mostly waiting for Godot, kind of every year I thought, oh, you made it this far. You cheated your way up in a sense. Oh, now you got this big client, they trust you. But SEO is not going to work anymore, just a couple of years down the road. Like, I don't know, make hay while the sun is out, and it's going to end someday. And kind of every year I kind of progress, both economically, but also skill-wise and everything. And maybe it's not such a good idea to wait for the worst to come. So I'm very aware of this. So it's the imposter syndrome, right? But I think the more you know about SEO, the more you should be humble, right? And some of the most successful guys, they're the most humble, because even they go and pay a lot of money to get coached by other guys, and they're interested in everything, because in a field like SEO, you cannot afford to be, I don't know if that's the right word, high-strung or arrogant. You gotta bow down and do the work. And so that's one. The other thing is, and that's connected to that, trust the process, just show up, this perfectionism. So I don't know, if you progress a little bit every day, you don't have to worry too much. So yeah, invest earlier in myself, spend money. The Swiss say you have a hedgehog in your pocket, that means you're not willing to spend money. So my old SEO mentor, Attila, he also told me while we were I think we traveled together, we were in Rio de Janeiro, of course at Copacabana, he wanted to go there. I said, please, no, let's not, again, a touristic place. But anyhow, there he said to me, Andy, you're a great businessman for what you've done, and you do things right, but you have one problem. You don't spend enough money, both for coaching and for software. So that has changed massively now. I would have joined a mastermind earlier, but back in the days, it didn't have these groups on Zoom, I think.
No.
I would have loved to go to more conferences, but this little pandemic came in, so
True.
yeah. So, and also not give up my own projects, but keep them on the side, at least adding a little bit every week, even if it's every month, because I don't know, I think every SEO should have his own projects, because why not, right? If you can pull it off. Because if you can pull it off for a client, you should, and you could pull it off for yourself. And this passive, or at least partially passive income is, I don't know, I'd rather earn €1 passively than 10 for the regular way. It's more palatable, it feels better. And yes, to finalize, also to build a brand earlier, it's something I did relatively late, maybe also connected to thinking, oh, maybe this SEO thing, in 2-3 years, why build a brand, if maybe AI takes over, but definitely.
Yeah. So thinking through all of your successes, what's been the biggest screw up? What's been the biggest howler, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, I mean, now telling it doesn't sound like a big screw up, but it was huge at the time. So okay. I told you, I was still interviewing for jobs, and there was this guy. He said, well, we're not really recruiting for a company. He was super nice, invited me actually for lunch, this head of the company. And then he said, but tell me about this SEO thing you're doing. How long have you been doing it? So I've been doing 16-hour days for 2 weeks, but I just told him 2 months. And then he said, can you come and teach my head of marketing, So, and these were the moments where, you always have to say yes, So I actually went and coached them. They also gave me access to WordPress. So on a Sunday afternoon, I tried to optimize things on the WordPress side, and something with their language plugin was weird. So after I was finished, the whole above the fold was filled with language, with different flags and country names. So yeah, and I didn't have any money at the time, and taxis are very expensive in Vienna. But I took a taxi, drove to my best friend who happens to be a developer, and tried to fix it. And after an hour or so, we had it done, and so they wouldn't find out on Monday that I killed the website. That was really big at the time.
Yeah, I can think of some occasions where that's happened, where you think you're safe, and you try and just do something very quickly, and you cut corners, i.e. you don't take a backup, and oh man, it's the worst.
I have one more. It's many years ago. Luckily, I never thought I'm actually can use it as a story. So I did this project for a beauty clinic, and it was very competitive. So I asked another guy to join me who was more experienced, and I gave up half of the revenue. So pat on the shoulder to me, right? So for me to learn. However, so I found they had a lot of link spam, and if you clicked on it in Search Console, you actually were redirected to casino sites. But if you checked if you checked the cache in Google, what these pages did is actually take parts of, let's say, your article about breast implants or whatever, put it together on this page, added some other content from other websites in the same niche, and then gave it a super crazy SEO title with, I don't know, former dictators plus the company name and everything. So it looked like a bad neighborhood kind of thing, plus duplicate content attack. And And I did a lot of research, and there was a German guy writing about this specific phenomenon, and he gave it a name. He spoke at a conference. So I thought, oh shit, I found the holy grail, how we solved this, because we couldn't make the website move. And so I reached out to the guy, and because we didn't charge much and I only got half of the money, right? I couldn't say, oh, I pay the guy. So I just trying to solve this problem. I suggested to the client, let's take in this guy, because that is our last hope. That's how we can solve it. And I asked the guy, what are you going to do? And he was very unspecific of what he's going to do, but he will solve it, blah, blah, blah. So of course it took a week or so, and I was kicked out, and this guy took over. Oh. And in the end, I think it was just a high, those links didn't matter. It was just a link authority thing in the end, but right. Was really painful at the time, but you got to move, that there's, if you're living life, you're going to sin. That's the bottom line. And if you move, you will be criticized. And that's the tough part sometimes, I think, of being an entrepreneur, because you have to move. If you don't move, you don't evolve.
No, that's right. That's right. And you have to try these things. And sometimes you go down a blind alley. Sometimes you go down an alley full of bad guys and they take advantage of you. And, and other times it's a good choice, and that's just the way that it is. And I think most people who are on a journey of some description find that they make more mistakes than they make good choices, but the good choices outweigh the bad choices. That's just the way that it is.
Yeah, gotta be ready to get hit in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the best resources that you've used or that you still use to help you in your SEO journey?
Absolutely, Gray Campbell's mastermind. The guy is just super generous, and I think he loves to see people grow. This is amazing. It's also like a group therapy for SEOs, because if you're in this alone with all of this volatility, you need some stability. So even if I'm not interested in some of the things that are being discussed on one day, I just join for the community and talk a little shit with the guys. So definitely the mastermind. I also I'm a member of Eric Lancheris, I think, right. Traffic Research. It's really good stuff. Charles Float, for sure. In the early days, Matt Diggity. He was kind of the first serious guy I found on YouTube when I didn't have the money or even the knowledge of who's good, So I'm happy to have found him, and he's still putting out pretty good stuff. And then for selected things, for example, I worked on quite some projects with rendering and indexation problems, server-side rendering. So I really like the Onely guys. The Polish dudes, they're really technical. So Bartosz Tomek, he wrote a really good ebook I can recommend. It's super basic on the one side, but also super, super deep with regards to indexation and rendering. So these are definitely the guys I follow, and also reach out to for coaching sometimes, when it's needed, when I'm stuck or need a second opinion.
Yeah. And who are you listening to sort of on social media or following at the moment? Who sort of sparked your interest? Anybody sort of coming, up and coming?
Up and coming. Well, Ryan Durrani is amazing. Yep. There's a couple of great LinkedIn guys. Since I'm active on LinkedIn, I follow these guys. For example, Ryan Durrani is exceptional with regards to systems and reporting, and he's pretty good with EAT, so definitely a very good resource. There's some other guys for local. Riz, I forgot the last name. He's also a member of the mastermind. So it's so diverse. There's so many guys that are doing great things. It's hard to follow it all.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that Black Hat has a lot of myths and legends, rumors and things that kind of follow it around. What's one of the biggest SEO Black Hat myths, falsehoods, lies that you'd like to take people to task on and say, no, that's nonsense?
Well, 100% links, right? I mean, this is what you always have to sell to clients, and it would sound much better if you called it public PR, PR outreach or whatever. In the end, it's kind of the same. So bottom line is, it's just physics. It's just like in physics. Well, if you don't, without links, you're just not going to rank, except from some rare circumstances. And communicating this is sometimes pretty difficult. And and so definitely this. And well, everything else. To be fair, I mean, you couldn't do anything in SEO really. So I don't really understand that this absolutely white hat thing. I mean, for example, I talked to a guy who I respect recently, but I mean, so he asked me, there's a certain page I cannot rank. What should I do, right? And we went through the list, and did you do that? Did you do this schema? I don't know, SEO title. And then I said, have you sent links? And he said, no, I won't, but I'm very sure they will come. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's unbelievable, isn't it? So he actually knew the answer to his own problem, but refused to take action on it.
Yeah, it's.
I guess it's probably fair to say that if you have a client who is paying you money because they want more traffic, essentially, within reason, they're expecting you to take action. And action could be writing content, and action could be getting backlinks. And those are the two kind of the key outside of the technical, making sure that the site is fast enough and there's nothing too untoward on the website. The other two things are really the two key points to all SEO. But it's all manipulating, and I've said this on a few interviews, isn't it?
Exactly. And I recently talked to a person, and I mean, for that person, kind of the black hatish thing was adding text to the collection pages on the Shopify collection or category page. And he didn't want to do it. So, well, that's all good and fair. But I mean, as Greg said, I think no content, no rankings. So, I mean, why make it difficult for yourself? And I mean, yeah, in your private life, you would also, I don't know, if you want to lose weight. Yeah, I actually like that one. Not adding text is like telling a fat guy not to do cardio. That came also out of the mastermind.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but why not use the whole Instrumentarium, we say in German, the whole toolbox. So, and it's a competitive market, because if you don't do it, your competitor will. And we're all under pressure to perform, either for our own bank accounts or for clients. So, yeah. I don't know. I just don't get that.
No, I don't either. I'm just making a note for myself. Do some cardio. The other thing is, don't put too much in there. It's really easy. Don't eat as much. I'm talking to myself now. But yeah, no, it's absolutely true. A lot of this stuff is common sense, and I do agree with the thing about white hat and black hat. I don't understand why people feel that they have some sort of moral high ground, because if all they do is write content, then that's a really good thing. It's a really good thing, and they may be lucky a few times, but also there's going to be a lot of wasted content, in my opinion, kicking around on a website that's made and generating no sort of contribution to the website. And it means that also the customer is potentially going to be less happy, because they've spent a lot of money on, let's say a couple of pieces of content a month, and and nothing's moving the needle, and they'll be wondering, why am I paying all of this?
Yeah, and if you talk to big link sellers, they will tell you that all those big companies, that they're all buying, everybody's buying. So
absolutely, because it is the way of the world. And ultimately, my belief is that what you're actually buying is momentum. You're not necessarily bucking the system. You're not gaming the system to a great degree, because what you're doing is you're just buying some initial momentum, because what keeps you high in the rankings is the quality of the content that you've written, but it's getting the people there in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, also talked to a guy recently. He told me their former SEO focused only on link. They told them they only have to focus on link building to get results. And obviously that's stupid, especially for an e-commerce website where you want to make sure this thing loads fast and all of the other good things. So, I mean, you got to tick all of the boxes, else SEO would be really easy. It was like this, I don't know, from reports I hear in 2012, 13, was all about, I don't know, if you had 99 links coming to your page and I had 100, I won. But these days are far gone and over, right? I mean, and
it is long gone. I mean, you used to be able to set up something like SEO autopilot, which is still a great tool if it's used sensibly. But you used to be able to literally set up something like SEO autopilot, hit the go button, and suddenly you'd get X hundred links to a page. And it used to move the needle. You'd shoot up the rankings, and but what quality was it? Well, it was the same regurgitated content. So it is fascinating how things have kind of moved on, and also some of these hang-ups that people still have. I do sometimes wonder that the people who, and this is going to be quite controversial, the people who are saying, who have a problem with black hats probably just don't have an understanding of what the possibilities are and the different options that one has to rank a web page.
And it's really about the definition. I can remember I was once in contact with a person representing a company or institution that was mostly state funded.
Okay.
And I think I casually mentioned backlinks that we needed to rank. And then she got back to me, yeah, sorry, we can't, would have liked to work with you, but we can't give you this project because we cannot. I mean, for her, it sounded like something illegal and criminal.
Yes.
But you're only building a link from a page. There's nothing done wrong, and it's how it works, right? So, so either it's and what is black hat, right? Is it the keyword stuffing? Is it links? What is it? So,
is it writing a list of towns at the bottom of a page with that has no content behind it? Is it, as you say, is it about repeating things well outside of what would be classed as normal? Is it getting internal linking, where you can, I mean, what do they say? 4 internal links potentially could equal 1 reasonable backlink, external backlink. All of those things are right things to do, and actually from a user experience perspective are definitely the right things to do. Particularly internal linking and stuff like that. So they all have their their positive points, but who is really to say what is a good thing to do and a bad thing to do? Because also, as you said about the no content, no rank, that's very, very true. But there are also some sites who just don't have a lot of content. I think of e-commerce stores where sometimes the descriptions are pitifully small. You may be lucky to have a product code and a product name, but
and all duplicate content drawn from the web, appearing on 150 websites.
Yeah, the same content from the product manufacturer.
Exactly.
Who and you're just sticking it straight in there with no thought, or because you've got 1,000 products to get online. So what do you do about that? So hey, it's quite a deep subject, but I do feel that those people who sit on the moral high ground, saying how that they're white hat only, it's kind of how SEO Underground came about in the first place, because it's really a tongue-in-cheek thing. SEO Underground's for anybody who wants to further their knowledge of optimizing websites and web pages. We call it black hat with a kind of tongue-in-cheek, because I don't believe that most of this stuff that we show is black hat. And also, you have a choice. You don't have to use it if you don't believe in it, but it's good to know it.
Yeah, I mean, you should. I don't know. There's debates whether, for example, negative SEO still works or not. Let's assume it still works. Then, even if you're a white hat, you should learn how to defend your client against it if it happens, right? So
Yeah,
it's like a weapon. A policeman uses it for the good, and So
absolutely. No, I completely agree. So, what are the hot subjects in SEO that need tackling?
Well, 100% AI writing. Well, we have some English projects currently, and what we get back from the writers is often it feels like AI written content. So we have an interest for our client and for ourselves to spot it. So usually we read through, or my content manager, she reads through all of it, and then whenever you think this doesn't make sense, then we put it through the GPT-2 detector, and give it back. Depending, because if you know that it's AI content and you pay a smaller fee for it, then it's fine. However, there's debates, right, whether Google can spot it or not. But I mean, you don't want to get hit at a later point, and it's not fair towards a client to maybe get hit at the later point if you can detect it. So yeah, you have to take precautions for it. Would be bad if you had a really good result and then boom, it goes down because Google decides to scan it better or has more resources. And who knows if they're able to do it now. There's a lot of speculation with the recent update, helpful content, all of this.
Yeah,
I'm leaning towards they can, if in doubt, they can spot it if they want, right? But
yeah. What do you think about that recent? Because it's just about finished rolling out, I think, hasn't it now? And
yeah,
I've heard some people have been negatively impacted on it. Other people have been positively impacted on it. It does seem to be something to do with detection of AI content, or at least poor content,
super low quality and AI content. I would think so. I think it's super relevant, and luckily, I have to say, like my sites weren't hit, none of them. I got some nice increases for one client. The other one is just on its growth trajectory. So really, toy, you say in German. I never got really big time affected by a core update so far. There's always the huge fear, but it's priced in kind of. So it is quite big, and I think it also depends on a multitude of factors. So let's assume you have a super high quality backlink profile and a lot of trust, then maybe you get away with more, but it's about, in SEO, I think it's about, what, I don't know how to say that in English, but the drop that makes the thing overflow, and when you hit too many red flags with Google, then you're eventually gonna be punished. So you have no chance but to do the best job you can, and at least, I mean, as an action, either in general quillbot it, spin. It's not spinning, it's paraphrasing, I think. So paraphrase things even if you think it's non-AI content, and just make it the best content you can, and there's not a lot of room for cheating these days anymore.
No, it certainly is. I mean, I've messed around with AI, and it's good. It serves a purpose. It can get pages out there quickly. I think it's good as a placeholder if you're going to go back and potentially rework the page, because I feel that sometimes it's good to get a page on the board that has kind of the meaning, the intention in there. But the reality is it's not good enough, and that you've got to go back and do.
I call it a foot in the door content, right? And then the moment you see it being indexed, and the other thing I definitely see is EAT. So sometimes with things that confuse me and that I can't grasp, even after having read like 10 different articles and watched 10 videos on YouTube from different people, it's kind of a weird thing. So there were discussions, right? I think it's valid. It has something to it. There's some other guys recently who came out. It's all BS, right? But I think there's something to it, and I'm working on getting clients knowledge panels, and still discovering, working a lot, honestly, here, because it's kind of yeah, sometimes you don't know when you can't get through a project. It can be some BS, and but I think there's something to it. So definitely EAT.
Yeah.
Well, hot topic in SEO, also the crisis in the economy. It's also a factor. Some guys say the Fed, the money authority is driving a clown car, and they bump in between deflation and inflation, and it's all chaos. So it's very hard to plan for businesses, both from an SEO business side and anybody's business, right? If you don't know what's coming in, you can't even plan for months ahead these days. So yeah, that doesn't make it easier, right?
No, that is true. So fast forwarding to the 4th of October.
Yes, sir.
Can you give us a hint about what you're going to be talking about during your speech?
So it's titled, I have to read this, 6 Years in SEO, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Building a 20K a month business while traveling the world. So as the title says, I'm going to talk about traveling and digital nomading and the challenges, the good and the bad. I'm going to talk about bootstrapping, which is related to this. This is actually why I did it, besides living in a warmer climate. Good things, bad things, the habits that help me grow and actually get to pretty decent and renowned clients after a relatively short time. Client acquisition 100%. These are some things that I will talk about. So I don't know, just to serve the guy who is on his way behind me, or for my younger self, like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. So it might not be so interesting for a guy who might also be in the audience who's making 200K a month. But yeah, so I hope I can talk about these stories, the fuck ups, Also, I think that's interesting. I have quite some experience with self-publishing and how to use it for affiliate websites, how to make money, geo arbitrage, all of these things. And even sometimes it works ranking your own, parasite SEOing some Amazon listing pages. Definitely personal brand building, what I learned. Wow. So all the good and the bad, and where I'm heading. So
that sounds pretty full on. So some lifestyle stuff, some digital nomading, and tales from a digital nomad. How to to work a business that's pulling in 5 figures every month, and also then the publishing thing, and how to potentially get your books noticed, or your articles noticed on some of the larger sites. So that sounds very interesting, and to also use that, I guess, as ways of driving affiliate revenue as well, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Monetizing certain pages. This is how I started. I got traffic for especially one page that and it was nuts. And so I thought, oh, what can I do? So I just wrote a book in a week or two, still selling to this day, and learned some things along the way. Also from some other guys. Actually met a guy in Chiang Mai, 2017. At the time, he had 50 books out. So for every book, he had 4 versions. I think the Kindle, the hardcover, and the audiobook. And imagine, so he has basically 150 books out, if you count it like this.
Yeah.
And the guy told me, and I believe him, he has a pretty good business. He's a serious guy. Don't want to know what kind of money he's making today, but he told me back in the days, with only the audiobook version of one book, he's making 1,500 a month euros. So there's definitely a lot of money to be made if you do it properly. And I think it's also super interesting with AI writing, at least assisted AI writing these days, to look into this. And so that's kind of my journey, also getting back into this more deeply again, and with more resources and a better focus. Yeah.
Good. Excellent. Good stuff. Well, that sounds very, very interesting, and I shall look forward to hearing all about it on the 4th of October at
Yes.
SEO Underground. For those of you who haven't booked your tickets yet, tickets are still available for the 4th of October, SEO Underground. You can see Andreas Karle and other speakers all on the website. So get your tickets now. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Andreas, for
thank you very much
talking to me. And I very much look forward to seeing you at SEO Underground on the 4th of October. Thank you very much. My name is Paul Hogden. This has been Andreas, and you have been watching an interview with Andreas Karle for SEO Underground.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Bye-bye. Bye.